Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hope you're having a beautiful day. A great one out there. It is sunset right now. I guess it's not here, but you can kind of see the streaks from my window from the sunset right now. It's beautifully orange out there. And today, to end the day for myself, but perhaps to begin the day for you, we're doing one for me. We're going to listen to Wayne Shorter. We're going to take in a full album reaction of his sixth studio album, Speak No Evil, released in 1966. Now, and I look back at the comments, I do see that this album had been suggested by a couple of people, by R. Gray and by David Oliveras, who said that this was some good painting music for that particular weekend 6 years ago. So thank you guys so much for, the recommendation and the comment. But truly, I'm choosing this one for myself. Listen, I take in so many recommendations, so many requests, and listen, I love that. That is the life, the blood, the bread of this channel. But every once in a while, I want one. Every once in a while, I want one. I try to listen to at least a few new albums for myself, every month. I try to get in one a week, but that's not always possible personally. But I do try to keep up with, music on one side of the spectrum. And then, of course, a lot I save for here. But sometimes I have albums and stuff that I know I want to listen to on my own. And I'm kind of at that line of, do I just listen to it on my own and keep it for myself personally, or do I do it here on the channel? Because I'm always aware, I am cognizant of, certain albums, certain artists and bands, most people are interested in, or a lot of people. I know the bands and stuff, obviously, that people want to see on the channel and stuff, but every once in a while, I want to check something out that I'm personally interested in. So this album is one that I'm interested in. And I hope that, those of you who are here for it and possibly looking forward to it, I hope that you enjoy it as we dive on in. So, yeah, we haven't listened to a ton from Mr. Shorter, and this will be our first, true foray into a full album from him. So I'm excited. This will be my first foray into a full album from him, and I'm just looking forward to it. And I'm truly looking forward to just relaxing. End of day, listen to some jazz. I don't know about you, but there's worse ways to spend a Friday at 7:56 p.m. rather. And this was probably going to be quite a good way. So I hope that you guys are having a great day out there. Thank you once again so much for joining me, and hopefully relaxing a little bit as we dive into this album. Let's go ahead and just dive straight on in. Forgot the gotta get the plugs in. Pressing the like button helps a great deal. If you don't mind just doing that really quick, the Buy Me a Coffee's there. If you'd like to sponsor a song request and jump in front of the line, kind of VIP status, Patreon for exclusive content. But otherwise, if you don't mind just pressing that like button, helps a great deal. Let's go ahead and dive into it, huh? Let's pull up the album, Speak No Evil. And we will, of course, listen to it, discuss it, all of that jazz. Starting off with the first track on the album, Witch Hunt. My friends, this cup of decaf coffee, because like I said, it's 7:57 right now. We don't need to be flying high on caffeine at this particular moment. Witch Hunt, this sip of decaf coffee is to you. Just relax, man. Just relax. such catchy. To that. That was really good. I'm just relaxing listening to this. I hope you guys are as well. Focused room. Just walk that rhythm. One last scream. That is a hot jam. Okay, I hope that you guys are having a great time listening to this. Like I said, this is for lack of better word, this is me choosing an album, like I said in the beginning, that I wanted to listen to personally, and like that's not necessarily suggested from you guys. And I just wanted to relax and listen to Wayne Shorter putting down this jazz. And this is a fantastic first track to open it up with. Okay, so the track is entitled Witch Hunt. And can I tell you, that shriek, that scream that makes up that main catchy melody that it keeps on coming back to is phenomenal. Ba 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 ba. As you have Shorter and Freddie Hubbard here playing trumpet, and we have heard a little bit from Freddie Hubbard. And you want to know something? I have one of his albums also on my wish list, and I had like 3 or 4 albums tonight that I was thinking of listening to, not all together. Like I was going to choose one. This one is the one that won out. But Hubbard's album, I want to say it's called Red Clay, is also an album that I want to listen to, and I have on my list to get to at some point. Who knows when that'll be? But tonight it's Shorter. So but we're getting a little bit of Hubbard. This is a stacked lineup, by the way. Let me pull you guys up here real quick. You have a stacked lineup of brilliant musicians here. I mean, Ron Carter is everywhere. Ron Carter is everywhere. And I was actually lucky enough to have been sent an interview regarding and from Ron Carter, from David Oliveris actually. And it was a really cool interview. He is still doing his thing wonderfully this late in his career. I think that's awesome. And you have Hancock on piano, Elvin Jones on drums. He's played with Coltrane and many others. Elvin has such a cool style because, yeah, he can bring that blue coolness to it, that blue note coolness, but he also can bring this intensity, and I think that he showcases a lot of that intensity and depth in this particular track. He is busy. The snare, he captures a big size on it when he's playing, especially. The production captures that really nicely. Carter's bass kind of cools things most of the time, but if you listen, Elvin's drums are really up there in front. Hancock plays a nice lead with everyone, but then when he gets to his solo, I like how it's so focused. I like, on one hand, I'm probably more familiar with Hancock with his more fusion kind of stuff, but it's really cool to hear him just kind of laid back on a track in a track like this. Then Hubbard and Shorter go back to back with sax and trumpet, and that part where they blow together though into that shriek is just brilliant. I think that is so elating. That is that's piercing in almost like a very euphoric way. That particular melody, I think that they just did a brilliant job here on this one. As the kids say, this track cooked. Let's listen to the next one. I'm excited to I just want to go. I hope that you guys, like I said, are enjoying it so far. Next track, Fee Fi Fo Fum. This is basically Giant Steps. If we're doing that. It's kind of stepping like a little giant. Hold. So Hubbard gets first. It's not cool Ron is walking that thing. Out of shorter. Elvin walked it up. It's a strut. Love that melody on from Hancock, those chords. Nice build-up right to this. Back to them harmonizing. Man, good music can just make you feel in a good mood. It's so good listening to this. Just having a great time. Okay, so with the track of this one, I was thinking like it's going to be like, it's going to have a sort of giant scope. It's going to be perhaps having a big sound, a little bit more adventurous. It's going to be heavy in a particular way. But this is actually a pulled back and a more restrained track from the band here, as they have those moments, which I love, of quick explosions like fireworks, because they are colorful pops and colorful little climaxes in the music, especially once again that main melody, ba 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 ba, hesitate, ba da da da, da. Like that is really sensational, and I love how they come back and forth between that. But then off of that, the rest of the track moves in a relatively quiet way, and not like quiet. There's a lot of action still happening, but it's definitely a little bit more restrained and pulled back. I like how Hubbard starts off with the solos there, and from him, everyone kind of grows off organically of the mood of this particular track. This one is definitely a mood track, and Carter's just sensationally handling things back there on the bass on this one. Once again, everyone's more focused and restrained here, not so adventurous. Even when Hancock gets involved, he's just laying down very cool lines. And it all comes back to the giant, so to speak, walking back into the room, fee, fi, fo, fum, and ba, da, ba, ba, ba. I love that little hesitation right before they jump off there. Just a really fantastic track to listen to. It's so cool. And I like how even in a track like this, which is a little bit more restrained, Elvin, he has moments where he's still, hitting the crashes a little harder, hitting the snare just a little harder. The fills are still just as explosive as anything else, but somehow making it work and fit in with this delightful mood that the track is laying down. I may say this every single time after a track ends, but I hope that you're having as good of a time as perhaps I am. Let's move on to the next track, Dance Cadaverous. It's going to be Camille Saint-Saëns. Hancock's owning this. This is Hancock's. sweet note. Almost kind of fell apart there for a second. Dance Cadaverous is playlist worthy. I got to give it another listen at some point, but that one might be playlist worthy. I think that was so smooth. It had subtlety beyond compare. Hancock, he handled this track with grace, elegance, sophistication, and he laid it all down on the line. His piano solo that took up, in my mind, the bulk of this track was just phenomenal. It was wonderfully restrained, very impactful, having a little bit of a nocturnal romanticism kind of ideal towards it. And he played it in this really, really lovely strength. Like, it was just a really great place. I thought that was just a centerpiece in this track, but also it kind of acted as a centerpiece for the album. We're basically halfway through. And I feel like his piano playing was the flower vase or vase in the middle of the table, acting as the centerpiece for the table that's been set before us with this particular album. It just stood out wonderfully. Let me go back here. Okay, it's called Dance Cadaverous. This is the dancing. But then he moves off it. See, and the way the drum swings at certain points with him and the bass kind of gives it a little bit of a wind right there. It creates this romantic gust that just comes in, and the dancers are dancing. I'm watching the dancers dancing wherever they are, and then there's a wind that just gives them a little bit more momentum and inertia in some of the spins and whatever moves the dancers are doing. It just adds a little bit of an energy. Like, this just feels right, and I think that the band plays phenomenally. And then what's also really cool is at the end of this track, when Hubbard and Shorter kind of harmonize and blow into the same direction at the very end, they play this almost dirge-like, but not so gloomy, but it is kind of dirge-like send-off or closure to this particular track. It feels like both of them are, I guess, musically putting that final nail in this coffin. Of course, it's called Dance Cadaverous, so maybe that's why I have these ideas in my head. But it just feels like they're laying it to rest, and they do it so elegantly and gently, and with a lot of dignity as well. This whole section at the end is magic. And still catchy in its own way, but you can actually feel the breath coming from both of them as they exhale and, in a sense, kind of, putting their life into the music there. I think that this is Just phenomenal. The sun has now set, so I'm just closing my blinds real quick. So that way, others don't look where they don't need to look. This is a brilliant track. Shall we move on? The title track of the album, Speak No Evil. Here we go. Hop right into it. My dad would be so proud of me listening to this album. During that melody. Build it back up. And walk it back. This is the hits. Snare. That was almost the lick. That was almost it. Getting awfully close to it. heavy with Elvin there. Ron and Elvin are hitting heavy back there. You hear them? I like how they calm down to give Herbie the space. That's cool. Wow, really just riding up and down there. That was good. Elvin brought them in. You heard him? He started that groove and they all followed him. And you get a fade out at like one of the most intense moments. Oh. Okay. They bring in the big melody. Ba 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 ba. Ooh, how did I do that? Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. It just has you cool strutting down the street, just strutting with your stuff. I think that Ron Carter, his bass, the way he plays alongside Elvin at particular moments in this track, it's so heavy. And like it feels like he's not literally slapping the bass, but like he's abusing the bass. It sounds like he's really hitting some of those deeper chords and just making it ring. And it has this deep resonance when he does that in a particular way that he doesn't usually play like in a heavy way like that. But when he does, you feel it. And I think that comes across really nicely, especially when him and Elvin line up and sink in and lock into that rhythm so that it creates this heaviness. And not a heaviness in obviously like, a rock or that kind of way. But with jazz, and especially like, more traditional stuff like this, it's a heaviness in like it, for lack of a better word, it feels like it gets you moving. And it gets a certain kind of momentum that is a little different than the usual. And I love how they step into that. And there's a few moments within that particular context that Hancock kind of lends them, for lack of a better word, some chords while he continues to do his right hand. And I think it's really cool when he kind of lets them borrow his left hand for a brief moment, because when him and Carter have those chords together, it just rings really, really heavy in a particular way. And this being the longest track on the album, yeah, this being the longest one, you have space for solos, and they all get it in really well. I got to say, once again, I feel like, besides Carter, how I mentioned the heaviness there I liked, I feel like Hancock is once again a really big standout here, especially with that part in the solo where he just escalates us up and descends us back down. And he does it in such a, I guess, kind of staccato way. He kind of, da 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 da, and it almost cuts the rhythm. It's almost like cutting and pasting, and he kind of cuts around that and then brings us right back down. It's just a really cool moment within this track. And then near the end, let's see if we can find it. No, it was, I don't know. I didn't look at where it happened. But there was a moment, as I mentioned, with Carter and Elvin, how they're playing heavy. There was a fill from from Elvin in here. And I just thought it was really neat, for lack of a better word. It was somewhere around here, but I'm not going to be able to find it. But it was just a really cool little fill that he did that really lent itself to some heaviness there. And the way that he's using the bass at very certain points, talking about Elvin, it's really nice. It's, the bass has a very particular kind of feathering in a lot of jazz, so you don't get the full effect. But there's times when he kind of lets it, puts his foot down, so to speak, and it comes across really nice and adds that heaviness in this particular respect. Let's move on to the next track, Infant Eyes. There's that other side of Herbie. That's very Bernard Herrmann kind of sound. Now that is blowing that sax, man. I love how Herbie's kind of strumming the notes there like a harp almost. I love those bends. So phenomenal in how it works into the title of the track as well. When you look into an Infant Eyes, and maybe it's because I have a recency bias with this, you see so much life and hope and future, and it's a really beautiful and emotional thing. And so they capture that wonderfully here. Shorter's expressions are just emotional. You could feel so much different feelings in this track, and just how he plays his sax. I feel like there's sadness, there's happiness, there's joy, there's mourning, there's exultation, there's lamentation, there's everything. He captures it really, really brilliant here. And the band just plays a quiet blue room for him to moan over and for him to sing over with his sax. And it's lovely. I love how breathy it is as well. You can really feel it in the lower notes. And I can't say for sure because the track title doesn't look familiar to me. But the main melody, that like that, it kind of sounds familiar to me. So it's possible that I've heard this in the past somewhere. I wouldn't doubt it. There's been so much jazz in my life that I've never latched on to knowing who or what it was. So it's definitely possible I've heard this before in some format, because that melody does sound somewhat reminiscent and familiar to me. But it is lovely and gorgeous nonetheless. Did you hear the way that Hancock was handling that piano in here? Gently, like he was rocking the cradle. And there's one moment, I didn't look at when it happened, but there's one moment that the band has, for lack of a better word, a flare up. Elvin begins to put some pressure on. The rest of the band comes in as well. And at first I thought that this was going to kind of capitulate and end up going into a bigger, I guess, climax in that kind of regard. But it wasn't. It was actually literally just that moment. They came up for a splash, and then relegated themselves back to the calm seas behind them. So that was a cool moment, though. I like that because it kind of built this like anticipation, and then it cooled things right back down, cooled those jets. But masterful play in here, deep, obviously restraints and just beautiful subtleties in here. That's that could also go on the playlist. This particular track, I'm feeling it. This and Dance, maybe FIFA. I don't know. This album's just good, I would say. Let's go ahead and finish it out with the final track, Wildflower. Waltzy swing here on this one. It's a nice solo there. There's the walk. Those little deeper notes swinging. Nice swing they set up there. Love Ellen's fills and lead-ins to the transitions. jumping back to that melody a little bit. Right back to that swing. That's so like fanciful. Just like that. And just like that, speak no evil, spoken no more. Wayne Shorter. Full album listen. That was a fantastic, and I like how the second to last track really softened things up into its emotional, vulnerable and emotional state. And this one adds, for lack of a better word, that jazz back in. We bring everything back to life for one last go around, one last hurrah. And it's a really celebratory send off. I like how it starts off in that swing motion, in that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 waltz like swing. And then it carries, of course, the horns with it, the brass, as there's something kind of merry about it. There's something, I don't know why, but I think of a merry-go-round when I hear that. And it just sounds like it has this really fun, childlike cadence at that particular point. And then it switches back into something a little bit more straightforward in its jazz movements. And it, plays a little bit more traditional, a little more straight when it comes back to this down there. But I thought that was a really nice way of not just providing a catchy melody for the track to latch on to, as you often hear with jazz albums and definitely throughout this one. But I like how it completely changed the composition and structure around it. Everyone is changed a little bit as they play. Elvin. I just love listening to his drumming. I feel like he is always doing something so interesting back there. Whether it's just something as simple as some ghost notes that become more present as a fill goes, or the way he dances on the ride, or like some of the very powerful but subtle fills that he brings in. I just feel like he's always busy, but it's working with the music in a really, really phenomenal way. Obviously, Hancock he gets another standout moment here. He has some centerpiece moments, I would say, on this album, and this track is not different. He gets a really great solo in here. And something I forgot to mention in the previous track, I mentioned it while it was playing, but I really like the way that he kind of strummed the piano chords, for lack of a better word, at a particular point. I just thought that was a really cool moment. But like I said, he gets his place in the sun in here. It's great. It just feels classy. He adds in a few blitzes there, but always keeping the mood the way it should be. And Shorter and Hubbard play really nicely together. I wonder if they play together in any other albums, just out of curiosity, because they worked incredibly well in this one, and in this track in particular. I felt that they were really nice, especially when they sync up in line together. They have a really nice harmony, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, together. This was a really great album to listen to. Like I said, I hope that you guys don't mind. Every once in a while, I just want to choose something I want to listen to. And, those of you that are interested, you're here. And I'm assuming if you're not interested, you're probably not here. Looking at some of the info, it combines elements of hard bop, modal jazz, and features Shorter on tenor. And of course, we already went through the list. The cover photo is of Shorter's first wife, Toroko, Irene Nakagami, who he met in 1961. It was one of several albums Shorter recorded for Blue Note in '64, his first year as a member of Miles Davis' mid-'60s quintet. The album is generally regarded as one of his finest and also a highlight of the Blue Note catalog. And it goes on from there, and its wide range of accolades and positive reception. Favorite tracks? Off the top of my head, on a first listen, I would give it to Dance Cadaverous and Infant Eyes. Obviously, I would like to give it another listen. And if I had to choose a third, if you pulled my arm and twisted my pinky, I would have to say perhaps Fee Fi Fo Fum. I feel confident with that. And I hope you feel good with this. Thank you guys so much for being here, for watching, for hopefully enjoying, for sticking around, stopping by, opening your ear, and listening to some music with me. I genuinely hope that you enjoyed it. I appreciate you spending that time with me, and I hope that you come back tomorrow. Thank you for allowing me to dive into this one, and have a great rest of your evening, your day. We started at sunset, and the sun is long gone now at this particular point. Thank you again, and let me know your favorite track or tracks on the album. Bye, guys.